Hello and welcome to another edition of the Biblewheel program. Today we're going to be looking at the 9th century, the beginning of the 9th century, where the first king, general to become king, was one by the name of Nikephoros in Greek, Nicephorus in Latin. Nikephoros I Logothetes, and Logothetes means Logothetes to Geniku, which means he was general of the financial ministry. And in comparison to the 9th book, 1 Samuel, it was Samuel who said that if you have a king, then he will take taxation, and you will take your sons, your daughters for soldiers and maidens and so on. He's gonna take your vineyards and so on. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that was his function. And when he took over the office, eventually there were complaints of having being taxed too much, and his son-in-law reduced Michael Rengabe. When he became king, he reduced the taxation. He reigned for 9 years. And what happened was that he created the battle against the Bulgars, the Bulgarians, and eventually he died a humiliating death, where the king of the Bulgars took his head after he died. He used it as a cup or chalice to drink wine from therein. And this resembles to the life of King Saul. As he was appointed, he became king, and he died in the battle at the end in chapter 31 of 1 Samuel, the last chapter of the book. He died a humiliating death. His ways didn't please God, and he had a war with the Philistines. And they cut his head off and took it to the temple of Dagon, and eventually one of his sons, a few of his sons died as well in battle. And in this case, one of his sons died in battle. But Storacius was another one of his sons. He actually was heavily injured, but he returned from battle and he became emperor. In the beginning of the 10th book, 2 Samuel, one of Saul's sons eventually became king, but I'm not sure if he participated in the battle, or was he perhaps underaged, and he happened to be the succeeding king, which his name was Ishbosheth. But in this case, Storacius was the one who succeeded him, but they weren't happy. The people weren't happy with his rule. I don't know the reason, but he abdicated the throne, and his brother-in-law took over the throne, which is Michael Rengabe. And Michael Rengabe, and this is Emperor or King Krum, drawn an old drawing depicting someone bringing some wine. I guess it's in the skull of Nikephoros. Here is a coin of Nikephoros' son, Storasius. He replaced Nikephoros after 9 years in the beginning of the 9th century, around 811. And he replaced him. He was heavily injured from the battle. But the people weren't happy after a while, and he abdicated his throne. And what happens is that when people abdicate, when emperors abdicate their throne, they're taken, they're tonsured at the time, and to the point that some of the emperors were even mutilated. But I don't know, I don't think this was his case. But he was tonsured and placed in a monastery. After Storacius, it was his brother-in-law, Michael I Rangabe, who takes over the throne. And this happens within a few months, because when he becomes emperor, it's still 811. I think it was later in October that he took over the throne. And he was known for reducing the taxation, but still there was some kind of he wasn't liked. He was a persecutor of the iconoclasts. Iconoclasts were those who destroyed icons, thinking that the worship of icons would lead to the anger of God, and he was against the iconoclasm, the destruction of icons. But you're gonna see after that, after his reign, there's another movement that had begun of iconoclasm, of emperors being in favor of iconoclasm. And some of the iconodules fled to Rome. And reigning alongside Michael Rangabe is his son, Theophylact, who was about 18 years old. But eventually, at the people's discontent, they forced him to abdicate the throne, and the successor was of another lineage. It was Leo the Armenian, Leo the Fifth, who reopened the iconoclastic movement, began once again. I hope that you enjoyed listening to the program. We will be continuing our study of the 9th century Byzantine emperors, moving along to Leo V the Armenian, who restarted the iconoclastic movement, and his colleague, who later became Michael II, and his lineage. If you like this study, please subscribe, click on the like button, and share this with your friends. I am open to hear your comments and remarks. Check out my other videos in my channel and join me on the next program.